because we gotta wait for our phone call. Yeah, hold on. Hold on. You done? You tweeting this? You're on the ground? Oh, no. Have you ever said, what's your name?
My name?
Yeah. Kathy? Have you ever been sat in the front row of the comedy show, Kathy? You're part of the show now. No, absolutely not. Everybody, welcome to Woodstock Arts. Thanks for coming out. You guys are clapping for yourselves. That's good. That's good. You should. A little bit about tonight. If you haven't hit already, the concession stand is open all night. Restrooms are in the hall. Come back on December 3rd for a Christmas carol here at Woodstock Arts. And then we also have auditions for a chorus line. Go to the website, okay? Fun stuff. All right. So, my name is Michael White. Happy to be here. I'm a Woodstock native. Live right down the road. So if you see me in Aldi, don't talk to me. Because I'm an introvert, and this is as close. Except for me and Kathy, we had a moment there, but that's cool. November's a big month for me. Not only is am I hosting this amazing show, it was my anniversary. Thank you. I got out of prison 5 years ago, so I'm really excited about that. No, it's my wedding anniversary. We've been married 17 years. Right? There's two parts of that. Like, half of you were like, wow. Now, I don't know if that was a wow, like, someone married him. That's great. Good for him. Everyone else is just really excited. Like, that's great. 17 years is a long time. She doesn't get that excited, though. You know what I mean? Like, every time she wakes up, she's just like, oh, no. He's still here. Well, thank you for that. Oh. It's kind of like, our relationship started, I was kind of like a stray cat. Have you ever fed a stray cat? Right? And everyone's like, don't feed that cat, right? Because what's it going to do? It's going to keep coming back. So she kept feeding me, right? A lot, clearly. And now I'm an indoor cat. So, a little bit, you should know, if you've never seen my show or any of my stuff, I talk about my wife a lot, and it's okay, but it's something you should know about her. She is a midget. And I know that's not a politically correct term, but it's true. She's a little person. She's 4'9", okay? Now you're like, oh, okay, so she is little. But she's a little person, and not like TLC little person, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a show, okay? We should, though. And she's 4 foot, well, she says she's 4'9", okay? But a couple years ago, she was 4'9". She had that brain surgery, and they had to take away part of her top vertebrae. So now she's 4'8.5". And whenever she says 4'9", I'm like, no. You can't talk about your surgery and say you're 4'9" at the same time. It's one or the other, sister. But, and it's not her fault. I mean, her whole family are little people. I mean, she's not from the circus. I mean, they're just all very small people, you know. And you can always tell who marries into the family, because when you look at, like, family photos, it's always like, me, Uncle Charlie, Uncle Bob. Like, you always know who's not, like, born into the family. And it was kind of scary. We went shopping earlier today, and I lost her in the store. Those racks are tall, y'all. I see everyone's a tall person, right? So what I have to do now when we go shopping is, when I go to the front, I get a balloon, and I just kind of tie it to her. So I always know where she's at in the store. And then my daughter, she has to keep the balloon. So it's a win-win, you know what I mean? It's a lot of cool things I've learned from being married for 17 years. Now, I've known her for 19 years. We dated a little bit, obviously, before we got married. It wasn't arranged. And, but I learned a lot, especially about communication. See, my wife's from the South. I'm not from the South. And, whoa. Is that okay? Yankees. I'm not a Yankee, I'm worse. My family's from England, so we're like super Yankees. Right? That was an audible gasp. Oh no. But anyway, like what I learned in being around my wife is you have to translate a lot of things that Southern women say. You know what I mean? Like what you say is not necessarily what you mean. You know what I mean? That's right. I'm just going to talk to this side of the room because you guys are taking notes, and this one's like, yes! Yes! But no, like if my wife, like if I say something kind of under my breath or something like that, my wife will be like, what'd you say? Now here's the thing, she knows what I said. She's just giving me a couple extra minutes to think about it before I get, and to get right with Jesus before we talk about it, you know what I mean? And it's both ways. Like I have to be careful how I communicate to her, right? Everyone has their own ways of communication. So like today, for example, I learned there's no real good way to like tell your wife that her story is boring and to remind her that you've got a video game paused in the other room. Because that leads to another thing that always comes with my wife is whenever she says we're going to talk about something later, that's both when the conversation starts and when it ends. Later. So we have to talk about that. One thing that's always good to know, if anyone's here, like, or you're in a relationship, or thinking about maybe taking some extra steps, like, one important thing I always tell people, there's, hey, Michael, give me some advice about relationships, what I should look for. If you're getting ready to move in with someone, or have a relationship with someone, watch that person load a dishwasher. Alright? I'm getting to let it soak in, because everyone in this room is thinking about somebody. If you're here on a date, you need to look over and see who's looking at you. Because someone's going, he's talking about you. See, because if you watch me, if you look at me load a dishwasher, I'm like methodical, it's like Jenga, it's like Tetris, like I'm putting everything exactly where it goes, I know exactly how everything's going to get washed, everything's going to be clean. If you look at my wife, she looks like she's hiding something from the cops. She's just like, shove it in, put the pot in, close it, gone. My wife gets mean too, man. Some women get mean. She, last week she got in a fight. She punched somebody. Like full out, it was an underhook because she had to come. But, to be fair though, that kid had to come. No, she did. I mean, don't judge her. Like, he rolled over her foot in his wheelchair and she was like, ah! I'm joking. She pushed him. Big thing though in marriage is, I don't have bed equity. Now, this is a term I made up, so no one knows what I'm talking about. We have a king-size bed, because things are going pretty well for me. And, but, I'm 6'2", wife's 4'8.5", and I get 10% of that bed, if I'm lucky. So if this is the bed, my wife gets from here to here, and this is pillows. Like she set up like a berry, right? And then I'm like on the side. I'm like here. Because we also have 3 dogs. Oh, and that's the other like 20%. Now here's the thing about dogs. I grew up without a dad, right? Oh, thank you. So I didn't really I'm surprised when I do very dad things, right? So like when my wife and my daughter were like, let's get a dog. I'm like, nope. Because we didn't have a dog. And I was like, this is great. We can go where we want to, when we want to. This is fantastic. And then she like, the kid was little, like, let's get a dog. I'm like, all right, let's get a dog. Why not? And I'm like, you leaving already? As I know it's dark, but you just go to the roads right there. So anyway, so we got the dog, right? And like they really sold me on it. They're going to take care of it. They're going to walk with me and all this kind of stuff. So we got the dog, and then they left to go to the beach for 3 weeks. So then that became my dog, right? So me and the dog, that's my boy now. Like he's bonded to me, and then my wife's like, well, the dog likes you. Why didn't we get another dog so that I have a dog that likes me? I'm like, no, we're not getting another dog. So then we got another dog. And my wife like leaves the house to go to work. My kid goes to school, so I'm at the house all day, right? Because things are going pretty well. And so that dog got bonded to me. So now we have 2 dogs that I didn't want, that love me. And then COVID hit. And like our vet closed down. So those 2 dogs we had made a 3rd dog. You can have it if you think it's that cute. They actually made 2 dogs, but I managed to get rid of 1. So we have 3 dogs. So bed equity, I have 10% of the bed. She has 80%. The dogs have 10%. So that's kind of what we got going on. But, and you know, life with my wife's always exciting. It was exciting right from the start, because on our honeymoon we were almost attacked by pirates. And someone would go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Captain's like, yeah, that makes sense, that happens. I saw Captain Phillips, that's a legitimate thing. He was vacationing in Somalia, and Somali pirates are perfect concept. So no, we were on a cruise in the Caribbean, and where most pirates come from. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We had a suite with a balcony, right? And we would leave the door open, and so we hear the waves and stuff like that. And when you go on a cruise, if you anybody been on a cruise, with some cruises, a couple of people, they were like, I don't know, you didn't like it. Okay. Anyway, so when you go on a cruise, you get like a cabin attendant, right? And ours was Fernando, and he was amazing. Fernando was amazing. We weren't even like unpacked. Like we put our stuff down, and Fernando's like, doesn't even know. I always scary, Mr. Michael, I'm Fernando. I am your room attendant. You don't need anything. Don't call the number. You just knock 3 times. Like you don't choose what's going on. He's like, you knock 3 times. Fernando will take care of you, okay? And he left. And I was like, what happened? Who was that? Second time Fernando came in, there was a really bad storm. It was like midnight. Ships rock and stuff like that. Boom! Be scared, Mr. Michael, don't worry. I just have to get the furniture off of the patio. The captain wants the furniture. He doesn't care if Fernando falls off the boat, but call Nancy if the furniture falls off. Good night, everybody. So the pirate thing, right? So she wakes me up, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. She's like, Michael, wake up. I need you. And I'm like, ding dong, here we go. She's back for more. And I roll over and she looks at me dead in the face and she goes, there's a pirate ship outside. And I said, what? And sure enough, I looked outside the balcony and there were lights out in the distance. And I was like, what do I do? This wasn't like a role-playing thing we thought about ahead of time. I don't know how to swashbuckle. I didn't have a Jack Sparrow costume ready. I don't know what's going on. So I did what any man in that situation would do. I called Fernando. Fernando's like, poof, be scared, Mr. Michael. It's okay. It's just another cruise ship. It's just really close to us. So you go back to sleep. Don't worry about the pirates. You little scary cats. Okay, go back to sleep. So Fernando was fantastic. Well, thank you guys. Are you ready for your first comedian? Yeah? He's like, hopefully he doesn't talk to me. All right, so our first comedian, he is from Atlanta. He's the host of the 1 a.m. Secret Show. He runs a musical comedy improv show called Kill and Be Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Andy Driver. We'll get you there. We do these shows every month. We'll be back on December 9th. We'll give you another shot. All right. You guys get some good snacks? Yeah? Fantastic. So, did you guys catch the crazy moon this week? Yeah? The beaver moon, right? Right. It's like they're running out of names. Why are there so many moons? You know what I mean? Like when we were, except for like these 3 in the front row, like when we were all kids, like we had a regular moon and a blue moon, right? And that came, like we never saw a blue moon. It's like, what's in a blue moon? When is it going to happen? But now it's like every week there's, we got this week for the beaver moon. My mother-in-law texts us at like 9 o'clock at night. I'm 39, so I've already been asleep for like an hour. And she's like, are you guys going to stay up for the beaver moon? And like all of us on the group chat were like, what are you talking about? It happens every 600 years. I'm like, who's tracking this? Like, there's a lot I feel like that science can be taken care of right now, except for tracking weird moons, right? Like someone at NASA is like, someone goes into NASA like, all right, scientists, what we got? Give me something. What we got? We gave you some money? What we got? We got something. What you got? You got a cure for cancer? Better. Awesome. Oh, so you created some sort of famine-proof food, right? So we can cure world hunger? Better. Can't wait to hear it. What you got? Beaver moon. What? Yeah, we got this week we got a beaver moon. Next week we got a buffalo moon. The third week we're gonna throw in a blue moon, but it's gonna be like a turquoisey kind of thing. Just kind of switch it up. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. We got a fire gray. He's doing the moons, man. We got Glad Falls here and everything. Or winter's almost here. So anybody do any cool trips this summer?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Canada.
Canada? Okay, that's a cool. I mean, literally cool. All right, fantastic. That's awesome. What'd you do? Where'd you go in Canada? Where'd you go?
Bridgeport.
Okay, very cool. My family, we got to go to the beach, which is awesome for me because I get a lot of attention because people are like, "Oh, Manatee washed up." So I like it. I like the attention. I always like to drive when we go. Does anybody like to drive when they go on road trips? You do? You're like 9. You like to drive because you're not driving. This is great! No, we like to drive. My favorite part of driving, and the reason I like to drive is as a parent, I feel like the best way to start and end a trip is for your kid to complain for 6 hours. It's the best way to do it, man. And but my favorite part of a road trip is when you get like out of the city and you lose the radio stations. You know what I mean? You have to like figure out like there's always that weird part of like Georgia where it's just either Christian or like deep gospel. Like that's the only two. Or, I'm sorry, country or deep gospel, right? And but I found this really cool station. This is my favorite station I've ever found. It's right, but it's like about 20 minutes outside of Savannah. Okay, Savannah is not a joke. It's a real city. And but all this station plays is reruns of Casey Kasem's Top 40 Countdown. See, I did a show last month, and everyone was like, I don't know what that is. So I love this crowd. I love Casey Kasem. Did anybody know what Casey, one of his first jobs was? He was the voice of Shaggy. Someone just said it. Like, hey, Scoob. Right? But anyway, my favorite part of that countdown, let's see if you guys guess it. What was the best part of that show? Because it wasn't the music. Long distance dedications. You guys remember those? You guys are like, oh, I remember those. They weren't sweet. They were weird. There were always some crazy situation. It was always a weird situation. It was never like, oh, hey, I love Tim so much. I want you to play New Kids on the Block for us because we're getting married. It was always some super weird situation. It was always like, all right, now it's time for another long distance dedication. This one comes from Bonnie. Bonnie writes, Dear Casey, in the summer of '84, I was at a 4th of July cookout and I met Tommy. We hit it off right away, and when the sun went down, Tommy shot me in the face with a Roman candle. We lost touch after that. But I always think of that night whenever I put on my eye patch. So Casey, will you please play In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel? Alright, you guys ready for your final comedian? Alright, very excited, very good friend of mine, another Woodstock native. She just finished filming a comedy special at Dry Bar Comedy in Utah. She's been seen on Nick at Night's Funniest Mom in America. She is the host of the Jennifer O'Brien Show podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jennifer O'Brien!
Here